Hey guys, this is a simple passive casual podcast, and today's gonna be a little bit more personal post. If you guys are watching on YouTube, wearing the student loan suck T-shirt. Got this from FinCon. I love free shirts. It's kind of probably why I like going to work and getting a paycheck and doing this on the side too. Today I'm going to be talking about investing in diamonds, and so it's a kind of a strange topic. I know a lot of you guys think, well, I guess it's a hard asset, but no, I'm actually got engaged recently, and I'm going to be kind of talking about how to buy a diamond ring. Um, yes, I'm currently have a verbal agreement to put together a long-term joint venture with and in due diligence period here with multiple time extensions, if you want to be as literal as that. So traditionally, a down payment for such a transaction as a ring is not, there's no down payment, there's no financing. It's you buy the whole thing. So it makes this transaction extra special, if you want to call it that. So hopefully if you haven't gone through this experience before, you can kind of learn from some of what I've learned in the past few months about procuring this rare commodity. If not, I hope you find this entertaining, and maybe you can forward it to some people who need it. But not really talking about real estate in this podcast. So if you want to just go to the next one, no hard feelings there. Just make sure you guys sign up for that Who You Deal Pipeline Club at simplepassivecashflow.com/club. But we'll move on here. So for those who haven't caught on yet, we're talking about diamonds today. And I think everybody knows that you get pretty much ripped off by a retail brick and mortar jeweler. Even those supposedly value friends at Fred Meyer Jewelers, because you have to pay for all the overhead and compete with all the other unsophisticated and emotional buyers. Plus, I don't like all the sleazy sales tactics when I go in there, and it's a huge time suck experience. I'm more of a internet guy, and I like to do my shopping and get all my information and then make a purchase without really talking to a human. I think in the back of my head, and I've kind of realized this, that in the diamond market, it's all sort of rigged, sort of like the sunglasses world, where all the brands are owned by Luxottica. Got an article there in the show notes where they own like all Ray-Ban, Oakley. I don't even know all the other ones, but they pretty much own all the sunglasses, and Sunglasses Hot. So some people say that they can haggle for a better price in person, but that takes a lot of time, and I'm not into spending like hours and hours to get like a $500 discount. For me, time is money these days. But I'm also in the first stage of learning, of the 4 stages of learning. I don't know what I don't know about diamonds. So here's what I did. I turned my attention to the top 3 sites using Google and Reddit forums. And I also consulted a bunch of friends who did this in the past recently. And I found out that the top 3 diamond providers are Blue Nile, James Allen, and Rare Carat. Again, Blue Nile, James Allen, and Rare Carat. So I was happy getting the approximate market value on the website, and I trusted the overall grading system in the online store. But what I really liked about these websites is that they allow you to sort hundreds of diamonds in a sort of an online spreadsheet where you get to sort the sort function based on different attributes. And this is sort of where the big 4 C's that you hear about all the time: carat weight, color, clarity, and cut. Unfortunately, you can't buy the 5th C, which is confidence. Not to be confused with the 3 C's of evaluating people in your network, which are character, competence, and commitment, by the way. So if you'd like to know about, more than like 80% of the people out there, maybe just go take 10 minutes to read this article to determine the quality and value of diamonds via the famous 5 C's of grading, in my opinion. This is sort of the bro's guide to diamonds here. So in my humble opinion, now real talk, the most important factor is size. Yeah, I mean, how big it is really does matter. Carat weight is numero uno, in my opinion, and I think in many guys' opinion and girls' opinion. So we'll leave it at that. The thing is, most people cannot tell you the difference between the other three attributes. They only see how big the freaking thing is. For those of you who know a thing or two about diamonds, and I guess I include myself in this category, is that cut is the second most important thing. Cut is that sparkle factor, how much the diamond shines based on the angles of the cut. And you know, I went and got the top grade cut because this is where the big wow factor comes in. Second, of course, how big it is, size. The other two attributes are color and clarity, and you can kind of, I don't care about these. Some people could actually like a little color. The higher price ones are supposedly colorless. So with people's, wanting different things, and I personally just threw this out the window. So I set my on the websites. What you can do is you can search your search criteria to have all these levels in these other two characters, like color and clarity, the unimportant ones, down to the bottom rung. I just took out the worst ones for some strange reason, exactly for the reason why you don't buy the cheapest wine on the menu. But these days I just do that. I don't care. So I put those two on the second to the lowest rung, and I sorted the other one for cut, the best cut, like I said earlier. Rarecarat.com seemed to have the best selection of diamonds, but the ring selection seemed to be lacking. So after a side-by-side comparison of Blue Nile and James Allen, I found James Allen's to be a little bit cheaper, maybe about a few thousand cheaper for the same diamond, or which of course I'm not an expert here, but that's what I found. So at the end of the day, I knew what my budget was, so I was just trying to get the best bang for my buck. In other words, the money was allocated, and this is how I mentally thought about this process of buying non-income producing assets. So everybody's like, oh my god, like Lane's buying these totally bad investments and just buying sort of doodads here, which it is. I mean, but as you grow your net worth, and I guess this is a pretty important thing, I guess. Unfortunately, a lot of you guys know I like to use that Mr. Rebates thing. It's sort of a portal on the internet that you go and you get a few percent points of cash back at when the deal closes. There was no James Allen on MrRebates.com. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you really should check out the show notes and sign up for my Mr. Rebates link so you guys can get in on the action. A lot of times at normal places like, eBay, I'm getting 1% back, which is, okay, I guess people aren't getting excited about that. But I routinely buy like Groupons on there at like 6% cash back. So what you do is you go to the website, you make a login, and then you go to you click through their link to go through a portal to go to Groupon or Macy's or eBay, and then you buy through it there, and they supposedly credit your account and get you a check in the future for that certain percentage. But anyway, check out the show notes for that. But back to the whole ring thing. You can spend a fortune on the carat weight, color, clarity, and cut. But like I said earlier, the most important fifth C of all is confidence, which you can't really buy. A lot of my single high net worth friends will say, who do, by the way, get a lot of dates. They're not a bunch of weirdos. A lot of them will say that they don't see the value of getting married in this modern era, other than if you'd like to have kids. I guess I definitely understand that perspective to some extent. I think that's one thing I try and do is always have an open mind, and I think everybody should have an open mind to all ideas, and every point is sort of valid at the end of the day. So this kind of makes buying this archaic stone, or may or may not have been a blood diamond if you're into that stuff, and it just complicates things. But as like a recovering cheapo, and you guys can see my shameful list of things I used to do to save money at simplepassivecashflow.com/cheapo, CHEAPO. I, I understand that money is not evil these days, and you can buy a variety of things like freedom, time, and happiness. So this purchase is just a perfect example of that, just buying a little bit of happiness, and that's fine. I think it's a great celebration as you go up in the net worth, as it's sort of a milestone along the way. The way I see it, marriage is a lot like playing with leverage. It's a little bit more risk than going it alone. But the reward, if done right, is disproportionately greater. And I will cite the Sharpe ratio adjusted risk-to-good return graph there in the show notes if you want to truly understand what I mean there. My first plan to kind of pop the big question was to buy this new CRV, Honda. That's a Honda CRV. It's an SUV. Note, I'm all over this whole buying Mercedes, Tesla, or other expensive cars. I had a Mercedes for a year. As you guys know, I got into a car accident, and the thing, it's a great car. I mean, I didn't even feel getting hit, but apparently the car got totaled. And now I'm just riding around this electric bike, which I think is super fun. I'm riding that to work every day. But yeah, so that nice car kind of got a little tiresome, or it didn't have that cool factor after a while. I felt like I was driving around a Jetta, and it was just kind of money going to something I didn't really care about. Um, I always thought it was like I'm striving mostly towards financial freedom at this point, and that's really that's really how I get off these days. It's not all the little toys and stuff like that. But I digress again. So my original idea was to pop the question at this buying this car, and maybe putting in the car. I had my VA scrape all the Honda contacts to get all their emails, and had this great system of pinning them against each other, because they don't really like how car salesmen do their tactics. So I was going to play their game against them. And by the way, I lease cars. I did the math, and it makes more sense for sophisticated investors who get a little higher returns than the average folks to always lease their car, because you want less money out there. You always want to keep as much money so you can invest that. But I scrapped the idea of proposing at the car dealership, because my buddy mentioned, hey, dude, you don't want to propose at a car dealership. Again, a great takeaway that everyone has a blind spot, and it's good to have people around you to bring up your counterpoints. But yeah, so everything went well, and we are working towards this due diligence period, and hopefully we can close the deal. And thanks for following Simple Passive Cash Flow. Onward and upward. See you guys next time. Bye.